Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Onward VRML Season 14, Week 11. We have our number 6 and number 7 on the docket for tonight with Proteus as home and Pantheon as away. I am joined by a new caster here, ChandlerSullivan. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Super glad to be on the stream. Excited to watch this game go down.
All right, and with that quick word, we are almost ready to go here. It looks like everybody's in. They're still doing some discussions as to the planning here, but we are starting out on cargo. So I'm expecting this to go rather quickly given the team's history here and the level of experience overall. We're going to get into the bans real quick here. Like I said, they're about ready to start. We have Quarantine and Abandoned for Proteus and Subway and Arctic on the Pantheon side. So we're not playing a couple of those larger ones. I didn't look at Proteus's team history for maps overall just yet, but I suspect we may not be going to Snow Peak or the likes of Downfall, just based on those two bans. On the opposite side, though, Subway, I'm so glad we're not going to Subway, honestly. We've played it so many times in the last couple of seasons, as we were talking in the pre-game setup here. But you know what? It's good to have a break every now and then. We'll probably visit it later on in the finals because all maps are on the docket during those. So we'll revisit our old friend there. An Arctic, quick, close-paced map, so I suspect that they just don't want to play a custom map that's similar enough to Cargo. Probably just a little bit smaller, honestly, in my opinion, because you can get across the map in roughly 26 seconds. Yes, I have clocked it in the past, but I am short, so I ran a little bit slower when I was clocking it compared to a couple of former teammates back then. So yeah, you can get across it pretty quick here. And you generally have a little bit more free reign getting in and around for maneuverability there compared to Cargo, where you can cut the map in half in a couple of different places. So that said, I'm just still waiting on the teams here. While we are starting out on the pipe uplink, and you can see the traditional smoke plays coming in as a possibility here. Maybe a 203 smoke grenade to help give a little bit more of that extra coverage and utility there. And then a flank in from the western side of the map, kind of along lanes 1 and 2 over there, and then coming in, trying to cut the map into a bit more of a 3/4 kind of a perspective there. That's my anticipation here, just knowing the teams. And well, I guess we'll see what happens in a minute here. While we are still waiting, shout out to Proteus VR Cover, Asterion, VRWare, Arma, and our Patreons. Alright, got a message from Pantheon. They are set to go, and they have given me the heads up, so should be starting up here in a second. If you haven't yet, go grab a snack, go grab some drinks. Drink of your choice, of course. It is a Friday night for those who are of legal age, so I imagine somebody's going to be watching some Onward and having a good adult beverage there. But if you are not of age, of course, ensure you abide by the laws, of course, for your local area. Teams are in. Let's hop into the game and see what we are going to get. Proteus is already shooting some rounds out of their pistols, getting a little psyched up here. Early pre-fire out from Absent-Minded Prof. Not going to touch anybody just yet, though. It is just going to cover a little bit of that realm here. Jester and Suplex back-to-back on the walls in mid. With
one pipe.
The revive already on Pantheon side. course, we got Peas all the way over in the east with Shinobi trying to get this push to start taking place a little bit more. Prof gets a couple of shots out on Shinobi, but nothing's going to connect there. They are going to at least get a few rounds out and refrag them. At the same time, Suplex is coming around and about back and does get shot by Jester. Quick pause in the action here. Got Park all the way hanging in the back still. Nothing's abnormal on the kit there. Peek at Rambo. Oh, let's pop over Peas actually in that point, because the fact that they just got Apollo Graham was nearby uplink. Not too close to it, but still well enough to at least defend it. Freak is trying to start bouncing back and forth here as they are one of two remaining. Down goes Peas, making this a 2v2. Park did give away their position on the mid section here on the left side of the map, I believe it is. Yeah, left side of the map. Western side. So Freak knows he's there. Again, just a little bit of silence here, trying to hear any footsteps. What's going on and where. Quick peek out by Rambo, just barely gets missed, but they do get a couple of shots out on Freak in return. Down they go, leaving the uplink entirely open here. Squirrel's actually all the way in the back, and I don't think they realize that they just lost all their teammates. They're still watching this one angle that Rambo was in. They could have actually come in here and lose this cap because of it. Question is, when is Squirrel really going to recognize this opportunity here that they've left open? Rambo closing in just a little bit off. Squirrel doing a quick check. Onward timing, and they get shot almost in the face. Looked like they got shot right in the neck as they pop out a little bit late on protecting that uplink there. Alright, so Proteus takes the first one there. Chandler is having a couple of technical issues that we're working through here, getting into the lobby, so fortunately we'll not be able to provide any commentary on what we just saw there. But I'm sure, Chandler, you can imagine there was a good bit of action based on the descriptions here. Hopefully at least I'm able to portray that at least in an audible fashion for you.
Yeah, definitely between these two teams, like you mentioned before, I'm expecting a lot of fast-paced action coming between them. You know, we all know Proteus is a fast-paced team, and Pantheon's able to adjust to those types of things, especially with that slowdown kind of in the middle to sort of catch footsteps and where they were, especially hearing that Rambo was kind of holding out for a second. That's definitely something that you're expecting to see from him, and then Peas as well is very cap-hungry. He always wants it. But I know that Freck, I don't know, Freck or Freak, whichever one you call him, I always say Freck. I know he's one to usually hold the objective down tight and not to let anybody in there unless he's blindsided by somebody, and letting the objective be open at that point.
Definitely some good insights there. Well, now it is their turn to attack it. So we didn't really see any smokes on the uplink there at all. I don't think anything except for a couple of flashbangs. So it'll be interesting to see what they pull out in return, and see how they decide to attack this.
Yeah, especially the thing with cargo. The one thing that you usually see is that teams usually run the same things. It's such a small map, and that's
Yeah.
why when you mentioned they usually cut it in about halves or thirds. And what you'll see is some people run the same thing. So like you mentioned, Prof did a pre-fire, not hitting anybody, but definitely caused some ruckus. I'm expecting that to come back out, especially on the offense, so he can get his team pushed up to the mid so they can take that control of that whole center section, because that's going to give them a lot of ground coverage and a lot less for Proteus to take advantage of.
Yeah, and as we do hop well into the action here with multiple deaths coming out all within the first, well, I guess the 5 seconds here we have lots and lots of action ongoing. Pete coming up around the back of Absent-Minded Prophet. We're checking the tablet. Puck is just holding this down with the pre-fire, but they decide to come out of the building because of the fact that they recognized the majority of their team had fallen. And while they were just unloading with the LMG to ensure nobody crosses into that front area, I don't think they recognized the fact that they had people on the left of them because of the fact that they had so many of those gunshots coming into their ears. We did see an attempt to take mid right off the bat there, and they did get a couple of early kills off as well. But it really just saw the aggression come in the mid to counter that, and they really didn't handle it. It seemed like a great regard because of the fact that everybody fell all at once. Like, there was a lot of action there. It was all within 5 seconds. We had, what, 3 or 4 deaths? So they just kind of kept trading out or getting kill after kill and then getting shot in the back kind of a thing. It didn't let them get through into where they needed to go. Alright, that's it. We're moving into the north here on the red container. And it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, I think, because of the fact that we've seen a couple of more aggressive pushes towards mid and keeping the back half of the map locked down quite well. So we'll see how Pantheon's going to defend this. As we were talking about, like, they really don't like letting anybody near the uplink, because you're saying, I call them freaky because frequency is, I worked in radios and satellites back in the day, so that's what I pronounce the name by. But they're going to be ducking down underneath the doorway, looking for anything that they can get. Looks like Shinobi's going to be coming up through mid, followed up suplex, but they go down.
He didn't cross.
And Shinobi's holding up here for a second because of that. He had the tablet out, so they know that somebody died right then and there. A couple of trade outs there as well. So Proteus is down by 2 with 1 revivable compared to Pantheon's 4. There's the revive, so it's a 3v4 now. Make that a 2v4.
Drop one.
Next to the G3 auto in the head. Shinobi ducking in and out, just kind of seeing if they can get an angle there. Nothing really going to expose themselves for that bullet to get out. But now it is a 4-1 as we hear Absent-Minded Professor calling out here. This is going very south for Proteus after holding the first 2 rounds. And there is the final kill by Squirrel. Pantheon is not going to let this go entirely out of control and have to try to regain momentum. Alright, quick look at the kill counts here as well, Wiz. We are in, that was round number 3. On home, Peas is 5 and 3. Shinobi 4 and 3. Rando 2 and 2 with the revive in that round. And on Pantheon 5 and 2. 3 and 2 for Squirrel, and a 3 and 2 for Freak. And Apollo with a 1 and 3 with a revive there. So, all around getting more kills spread across Pantheon. But Peas and Shinobi are definitely holding down the fort as they keep pushing in on the uplink. Alright, looks like we got Chandler's tech issues with lobbies all sorted out, so they will finally be able to join and commentate for us here as well. Just in time for round number 4.
Alrighty now. Rambo has small nipples. Yeah. Woo!
My nipples are sacred.
He's got a little bit of a voice on the night there. A frag grenade on their chest. Interesting to see what that's going to turn out to be like. Rambo does get an early pick. Down goes another from Shinobi here. Pantheon is down, starting this round off. Not looking good for them as it is already. Frag grenade was not near anybody, unfortunately.
There's 2 on middle 4. Let's assume 5-5. Assume 5-5.
We're gonna play it safe for callouts, assuming it is 5v5. But as we see, it is a 5v3 with one. Oh, Prof called Shinobi out by voice even there, so they kind of know the strengths and weaknesses in this particular area.
It's still mid. He's just being quiet now.
Shinobi just barely dodging the first set, does not get it for the second one though. Prof actually is going to make this a 3v4 now. And the one person they called up by voice and they know is out at this rate. Excellent little quick peek there on Park. Getting that refrag from absent-minded Prof. Is this getting a little bit more antsy on the Proteus side, Chandler?
Red crate.
-1. Red crate.
You see the laser coming in over near Peeves, who is starting to scrounge from
I see one dead
the
mid.
fellow body. Got a flashbang out of it in return. Ooh, Squirrel takes a hit after all those rounds off of Suplex as well. They are now they're now half health basically. Safer to assume that way. And the trade in the end of it is keeping Proteus alive 3-1. Oh, and we just had a lobby crash. Alright, bear with us a second. We get that stood back up. Alright, so obviously with the lobby crash, we're going to take a couple of minutes here. We got to find the right uplink and get everything stood back up and everybody back in. The communication is going to take a couple extra minutes here. So, as usual, sorry, but you're going to have to bear with us a couple of minutes here. I'm going to go to intermission while we work out these tech issues. On that front, we'll deal with the scores here in a second. I can get that corrected on the casting side. I can force those scores in so we don't have to ultimately keep cycling through and figure out who has what score there. So, oh, well, look at that. They got it quick, it looks like. Alright, so we're not going to go to intermission then. As I seemingly just got this. Got lucky with the uplink. It is the wrong uplink. Alright, we're gonna cut to intermission when we get this order. I thought it was gonna be a quick one, but it is not. So we will talk to you in a couple minutes. Alright, we are back. And scores are correct here now. We are officially in round number 5. And as you can see, we are now here on the gas tank. Accidentally placed smoke to give good obfuscation there, but Absent Minded Prof is going to throw it right back at him. Shinobi double checking that tablet after taking a look at Apollo through their iron sights, but
back right side or middle right side.
didn't seem like they connected yet.
Fragged him. Kobe Bryant. Hope I got a kill with that Kobe Bryant.
Last one.
Uh-oh. Well, as you can see there, that doesn't look very good. Doesn't look like the, oh, I of course hit the wrong button. Oh, good, we're back at scoreboard instead of highlight reel. And what just happened to my... What just happened to my OBS? Why is it showing Dauntless and Blaze? Alright, hold on a second here. I am very confused as to what's going on. Oh, this might be my highlight reel because it recorded a couple of things. So let me stop this. Out of all of my confusion. That just really threw me for a loop. Okay, never had that happen before. Learn things every day, work through tech issues as we hit them. So obviously we're having some lobby issues there again. So we're just gonna work through. So how's everybody doing tonight? I haven't popped in on chat yet. Sorry about that. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. While we work through this, I see a couple of new chatters here. Like Donald is a first-time chatter. Welcome in. Feel free to hit the follow button so you get some more Onward action, tech issues, and all as we kind of deal with them. Sorry for all the issues we've been having so far, but we're along for the ride. We are going to get through tonight. We are going to get all of the action here as it progresses. Sausage VR, welcome in Pano's cat. It's me, Shining Points, Ghost. Thanks for joining, everybody. Currently got 27 viewers here while we try to get the lobby back up. So thanks for sticking around. Sorry again for all the issues. not seeing anything from the teams just yet, so sorry, bear with us for another minute here. Alright, they're still flipping through everything here. We're gonna go back to intermission and we'll see you in 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, I said 2 to 3 minutes. It's been, what, 45 seconds? Apparently they got it all in at the same time, ready to go, right as we had flipped into intermission, and I did not think it was going to be that fast. So, here we are again. I think we got Chandler actually in this time, right?
That's right.
There we go, alright.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of pushing.
-1 left side, -1 left side.
Yeah, as you're saying, a lot of pushing already in towards the mid and left-hand sides here.
Now we're at a pause. 30 seconds in. Shinobi's watching towards the diamond where Freck is presumably downed, at least that is what's showing to me.
Yeah, I think he's just laying underneath. Yeah, they're laying underneath the...
Oh my god.
That is one of my favorite things to do in cargo, is actually lay on the doorways themselves. Because you can get perfect little peek shot on the ankles.
Right in the middle.
We can kind of see the defense really forming a channel in on the mid side as there. We see Shinobi popping around, taking one more out, and Freak coming around the corner in return, going to take a couple of rounds at them, but not actually connect.
Left side, left side, left side.
And just
Shinobi
like
making
that,
his business around.
yeah, Shinobi's clearly dominating on this particular section of the map, just going back and forth, left and right, and checking out all the angles they could, and they clearly, yeah, 4-0. They clearly dominated on that one.
Yeah. 4 kills out of the 5 needed. Oof.
Yeah, and Rambo got the one there.
Rambo picking up the scrap.
So
right behind them.
clearly we're going to be going to a different map here. Just despite getting into the lobby the first time around for this particular set of issues being worked through. Where do you think we're going?
That's a tough one to say. I have a feeling, if it's going to be Pantheon's pick, I kind of have a feeling they're going to pull Proteus to something like Bizarre.
Alright. It's playable.
Something a little bigger. Something a little bigger. That's for sure. Especially with Absent-Minded Prof. I mean, everybody who's encountered him in any sort of lobby knows that he's out there for blood with his 12 times sight, ready to down anybody and their sister.
Well, Pantheon seems to play Snow Peak a lot. And they do rather well. They win 50% of the matches where they've played it. 46 round win rate, so maybe we're gonna go there as well.
Yeah, that could force them into that long range, short range difference, and possibly some medium range, especially in the north hangar if they decide to get that. The other Snow Peak's an interesting map because of those two different dynamics that it presents, and then everything in between as you get closer to being sucked into either long range or short range.
Yeah, and there's different ways of playing each type of indoor uplink as well, because you can stay within the close quarters and bring it into a close quarter fight, which you may prefer as a team, or you can send everybody out and really choose to not make it a traditional close quarters fight, but you can kind of send them out into the deeper ends of the tunnels and still get a little bit of medium range there as well. Hey, look at that. What we're talking about? Snow Peak. We are going to Snow Peak.
That was a good call.
I mean, Bazaar, they're kind of close. They played it twice and they won it once. They have a little bit more round win rate there. I mean, the fact that Snow Peak was played 6 times, that's kind of where I jumped, because Abandon's off the map and they played it 5 times and won it 3. So that was my logic behind it.
Yo, the one thing I'm surprised is we're not seeing egress yet.
Yeah. I saw somebody with another comp lobby up that was private playing egress, but I haven't seen it either. And quite frankly, I haven't played, admittedly, all season long, so I still haven't seen egress yet, in any regards of an angle. So I'm kind of wondering when I'm going to see it.
Yeah, the funny part is, when I played Pantheon last week, they actually pulled us over to egress.
Really?
Yeah, and that was tough. It's one of those maps where it's like, nobody's gonna pick it. And then they did.
We do have stats for that kind of thing on the website, too. Now you're making me curious here. Statistics.
Yeah, one thing that I looked into with egress already, within like the second week of it being played, it had already been played 15 times. And that's slowly approaching our least played map that's been on the map pool since I started, Tanker, having only been playing 35 times. So it's slowly approaching the more played maps, especially compared to the maps on the bottom of the standings.
Interesting. Right now, as of right now, Tanker's at 45 and Egress is at 21. So it is roughly half the map played compared to that. But I mean, it's already like capped all the night maps. I personally like night maps. I don't know why people don't like them, but I like them. I like the additional extra challenge there, personally. So, the egress 21 times. So I'm wondering when I'm gonna get to see that. I need to clear the play space out and actually get in the game. I want to try out a couple of the new weapons that we really haven't seen in maps or matches in the last couple of weeks that I've casted.
Yeah, there's a couple scrims that I hopped into. They were like, hey, can you hop in and watch us? I was like, yeah, sure. And there's only like probably 2 out of like the last 8 scrims that I've casted that they decided to pull those new guns out. And not even like both of them. The only one that was pulled out was the MP7 on the Marsoc side.
Huh. Interesting.
Even though arguably in terms of sheer stats, or like looking at how the guns operate, in my opinion, the Volk submachine gun operates a little better than the MP7.
All right. Wonder what the favor of the MP7 is at that point, stats-wise. Maybe it just feels a little bit better and handles a bit differently than the Volk one.
Yeah, I mean, every time that I've used the MP7, it just feels a little better. I mean, even just looking at the Volk gun, it has a funky look to it. It's definitely unique. But like everybody's expecting exactly how the MP7 feels.
Well, good to know there. If you haven't tried it out yet yourselves, maybe go take a feel at it with the range. We're waiting on one from Pantheon, so we're going to be a minute here additional, what we're expecting. They'd had somebody drop, looks like they're going to be doing a sub here.
Man, if they do a sub, they're going to be losing a prime player, especially for Snowpeak, Absent-Minded Prof. He's definitely one of their pinnacle players for this map, so we'll have to see what happens.
While waiting here, what is Proteus stats here? Snowpeak Day played 3 times, won it twice, with a 67% win rate. They won 57% of the rounds. Kind of interesting. Choose Snowpeak. It's roughly the same. I mean, until you start playing it more, if you were to assume the fact that they continue the rates they've won and lost, which is not necessarily likely, it's interesting that they would choose a map like Snowpeak. Based on the bans, they definitely don't like doing the longer range maps. Check on the teams here. Discord. Still waiting on this 5th here.
Yeah, you know, it's one thing that I'm looking at on the matches page here. Proteus and Pantheon played each other last season, and looking at their maps that they played, it's almost looking like the exact same thing. Ooh, you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds like they're gonna hold true to the 5-minute time. I believe that is set by the rules, so let's flip back into the gameplay here. And Proteus is riled up and set to go. Well, Pantheon is going to be doing a 4v5 here, it looks like. Nobody's sticking directly in the uplink.
Yeah, and Pantheon did get the advantageous spawn, especially here in the south on the quicker side, down literally just corners away from getting ahead of Proteus.
Yeah, we can see Jester coming up around the corner here, looking for anything longer, but Rambo is a little bit farther behind that hill, so they're not going to be seen right away. See that Apollo barely missed the head of Rambo, though, as they kind of keep ducking in and out. Rambo's going to pull back, I think, which is a safer route there, instead of trying to continue to challenge them going out. That spawn is definitely called out now, though, so it is going to be a bit of a shift here in tactics, I think.
Yeah, speak of shift, got a Shinobi rounding around on the north sniper tower. Gonna definitely be looking for the longer angles across the lake on any Pantheon player, deciding to go towards the bunker. So definitely closes them into the south quite a bit as compared to what they could have if the spawn wasn't called out right away.
Yeah, we can see that Apollo is getting a little bit peaky on this angle too, so that gives Shinobi a little bit more advantage to keep them pinned down while the rest of the team is trying to progress. They're quite clearly, I don't want to say boxed, but they're quite clearly running into lots of issues progressing farther here.
Yeah, but they're lessening the issues as Squirrel takes out Rambo here in the south. That's going to give them a lot of ground that they can cover. Unfortunately, they don't see what we see, but they definitely know that that helps ease the pressure, evening the battlefield 4v4 as we come down to 2 minutes shaved off the clock.
Yeah, Shinobi is inching their way around the mountain there, as we can see in the distance.
-1.
Suplex getting a down onto Apollo, which we know they at least got tagged earlier. Freak is going to get the refrag, though, on that, and it looks like they're going to go for the revive safely enough.
And looking behind them, Shinobi's making the roundabout, so he might be able to take down 2 without contest.
Yeah,
there's
that
one.
Was a great play there. There's 1.
And 2. Park got Freck.
Friendly.
Oh! Look at this. The Squirrel is now looking to get something back here, but Park did almost shoot at Shinobi. It was a trade out in the end. Jester would have won that in the end of it all, though. I'm going to say 1v2 now with Park, the sole one on the uplink here, but Jester is trying to figure out how they're going to approach this. They got 3 minutes remaining, so plenty of time to actually get in and around where they need to.
Yeah, just like you said, a lot of time to do a lot of rotating and find somewhere these players are going to be. One thing that you can usually safely assume when you're last up and you know that a couple of them have been taken out, or I should say a couple of your opponents have been taken out, is that there's at least one covering the objective either right on it or just in that immediate area. And if you look, you can see Peas and Park both in that immediate area, sort of in that like closer area. But Peas still has a little bit of a longer look just so he can see if he's going to be coming through the south or not.
Yeah, definitely some key points they're holding here, because they really can quickly swing to any angle that Jester's going to come in from.
Yeah, except Peas is very exposed. He's got to really be on the lookout for Jester, but he's really worried about the south. So Jester might be able to take out Peas and cause this 1v1 and cause a little ruckus for Park out on objective.
Yeah, that flashbang, I don't know if it's going to touch them, but it looks like a flashbang in return did grab Jester in the end, though. He's just pushing it. A little, now we're out of that time range for the flash to be effective, but they know where he's coming from now.
Yeah, the way that they're watching the south makes me wonder if there's an accurate kill count here on the field, but Peas looks like he is ready to do a little bit of rotating onto Jester's position. Could cause some trouble for Pantheon.
Good job.
And there it is. Proteus takes a round, 55 seconds left on the clock, making it 1-0 in favor of Proteus.
Yeah, and Pantheon kind of started off with the down there. So they had a bit of a harder fight. Kind of kicking that round off and their map choice. It looks like we're still kind of waiting on that 5th here. You did say it was absent-minded prop, who is key to this map as well. At least they've got a lot of experience on it, and are a good 5th to have on the team for that particular issue. As you mentioned, they did use all the time up except for the 55 seconds, so I wonder if we're going to see a similar time tick on the Proteus side. Because, I mean, they've got 5th up here. They can at least move in and maybe not get pinned down and try to have to cover all the angles as they keep trying to inch in closer and closer. They really got identified Kind of, I don't want to say early on, but it was enough to make a difference and allow Shinobi to come around and swing. Uh-oh. Round reset there. We saw that body flop the mini view there. That was an interesting debacle. I think only 2 people spawned in on the Pantheon side. I actually did a +2, so let me fix that scoreboard here. So what are you thinking on Pantheon's defense here, considering they only have 4 people? Oh, I have 4 Discord DMs. Yeah, they're gonna do a timeout here. Power outages is to blame. So they're gonna be taking the full full time. Yeah, full time here. The call for league reservists has gone out. Alright, well, while we are here, and again, I'm going to be waiting for a few minutes, we'll do another cover of the sponsors here. Downpour Interactive. Looking to see what comes next with the update after the hot fixes here, because they did mention a couple of things that were going to be fixed based on the feedback, so it's great to see the bug fixes coming out from them, usually with the hot fixes as they do a couple of rounds of those, so looking forward to seeing that come out, and then a couple of new map tweaks, usually do a couple of collision fixes there as well. Proteus VR gives one of the best rifle and pistol mounts for VR accessories. It helps you stabilize your aim, and you get a force tube. It gives you a little bit of a kick in your shoulder for some force feedback kind of a thing. Great for shooters of all different types. And the pistol variant, I believe, has that as well. He did also announce I think it was last week at GDC, they announced a golf club mount for the Quest. Was Quest or all 3? I think it was all 3 actually, because the PSVR was there and showcased by them, yes. So that's going to be interesting to see, because I kind of want to get a little, I bought golf clubs recently, I want to get into some more golfing in VR as well, because any sort of practice, because I've not played really at all in my life. It's going to be a new experience there. So that'll be interesting to see how that comes out and looks as it comes out for release shortly. VR cover gives you high quality, hygiene and comfort facial inserts for your headsets. Nice cushiony ones and a cooling variant to help kind of relax your face as you do sweat from all sorts of games. So Onward, if you play it competitively, you sweat a lot. We all know that. Let alone in any fitness apps. So those are good to check out as well. Asterion gives you different covers of accessories for your headset and surroundings, so like the floor mats that actually tell you where you are with the feedback of like having the rings saying, okay, you're outside the boundaries or you're about to go outside the boundaries there. So those are good to have in case you need to play in a smaller play space. So that way you kind of know where exactly you are in your environment. VR wear and Arma covering a vast majority of the clothing there that we have in the VRML. We're in a an Arma jersey here now. and VRWare gives you a little bit more of those casual kind of perspectives on clothing. Joggers, beanies, hats, sweatpants and such like that. So go check those guys out. And then our Patreons. Patreons help support and run the infrastructure in the back end, because running a website has operating costs. Running some of the servers we have for maintaining that, and the production side and moderation and whatnot like that does help. They do help provide a little bit of that funding coverage there. And there are 4 different tiers available you can check out at patreon.com/VRML. Any messages here from the teams? Nope, just another few minutes here. So go hit the bathroom, and we will see you shortly after a quick break. Alrighty, hope everybody had a good short break there. We are back. Pantheon is now...
That's fine.
Yeah, it has 5, and they are ready to go on the defense here. Round number 2. Same spawn for Proteus as Pantheon had. So, Reek and Graham are going to be running back here shortly as we see them all running off to the east.
Hey, they had a drone. They got my location.
Nobody is running a drone, actually.
All right. Well, I assume that's down now after hearing the quick call out of a drone was up. They know my location. Park is kind of nearby. Looks like they're gonna get a shot on Gesture just yet, though. Oh. Shinobi gets the trade call out at the very least there. I'm gonna scavenge for a little bit more utility. Frag grenade does not hit anybody, but these two lasers are dialed right in on Shinobi. Rambo interestingly taking out the same spot just a few seconds later to throw a few rounds out. Kind of surprised they held the same angle as the death had occurred. Just saw Suplex go down from Graham, who's also starting a rotation here with 2 remaining on Proteus. It looks like a similar encounter is going to take place that Pantheon, or I'm sorry, Proteus had pulled on a defense. Park slowly inching up, keeping in line with Rambo. We can take a look at the mini-map. We are getting this swing around shortly here. Well.
Rainbow's not even gonna call it out. I wonder if he even knows that he got the kill.
Yeah. Down goes Rambo. Park is now directly around the sandbags from Frost. Quick call. Oh, and a double! Uplink is open. Squirrel is able to communicate saying they're down, but Park is on uplink with tablet out and now fully in cover. Graham has no idea what is about to happen. And booyah it is, ending that off. Alright, let's tally the scoreboard up here, because there we go. Proteus now up 3 again here. But what a double, and then way to come in for a cap. Like, phenomenal play there.
Yeah, that was wicked. And then Squirrel was able to get the call out. I heard it, but then Apollo didn't really, he was more watching Overwatch instead of pushing towards it.
Yeah, that was a critical piece to allow Proteus to gain such a stronger lead here. And that 2 points is going to really put the pressure on Pantheon to actually start with a comeback here. Like, they got the kill counts overall, but it's just not finishing the round with enough players alive at that point. It was kind of where they're left at. So they got to figure out how to cut this momentum out.
Yeah, momentum's a huge thing that you don't expect to be a big deal breaker in Onward.
Yeah, and you kind of think of the mental game there, like you gotta remember this is a physical and mental game because of the fact that you're psyched out by a win, and you're also really kind of kicking yourself or others on the team to continue to do better. It's just a matter of you gotta shake it off, move on as best you can, and keep doing what you're doing. These are in the top 6 and 7 of NA, so they've got the experience overall. They have the capacity to do really well. They just gotta get out of the mental state. Says, hey, this is not looking good for us. You gotta push on.
Yeah, I mean, some people in chat are saying, I'm even just watching them getting tired because there's no fatigue. Ooh, and Shinobi takes out 2!
Oh, man, we got the double right at the beginning here for Proteus going in strong. Flashbang up and over is going to give away the position. Jester is looking that direction. Nobody crossing the other side, and down goes another.
Shinobi for his 3rd kill, and then he gets killed.
So the refrag to at least stop the momentum off of Shinobi. That is going to probably leave Proteus wondering just how many he got there, if he got a 3rd or not.
Lots of rounds coming out.
I got him in the south.
Yeah, you can see just the amount of lead they're trying to throw down range at Jester. It doesn't connect with anything, probably because of the recoil at this distance here.
Last I heard shots near tower, I want to say.
Yeah, they shot at me near tower,
And hear the communication, trying to figure out where exactly they were. Comms very much important, especially when you're trying to maintain this lead. They are. You can kind of see Peas from the distance here with Prof's perspective. He's definitely peeking out. Looks like...
That's what I'm saying. This is what Prof is looking for. He's always looking for these long-range shots, which Snow Peak definitely gives him the ability to, especially with 3:30 left on the clock.
I'm not hearing him calling that out just yet, though.
Flying Snow Hill.
There it is. But did I hear that correctly? They called it Snow Hill? I mean,
Yeah.
As long as the other person understands what that means, because there are lots of hills and lots of snow around here. Oh, and down goes Suplex with a headshot after all those rounds were exchanged there. Pantheon not entirely counted out yet, but I think this peak from Prof might get a little bit too exposed here. See a lot of movement from Peas. They might actually get parked here, though. Yeah, there's the headshot for him. That is a 2v2, ladies and gentlemen.
Like I said, looking for those long shots. Absent-minded is going to pull out the kills that he needs to make it a little easier for his team, especially on these far-off objective looks, too. Ooh, dangerous.
Speaking of dangerous, that was... If Peas just came out a little bit more with that. Keep an eye over on the other side of the map there. We got the one behind uplink. The hangars there. As we, of course, are tracking along with Prof. Are they going to make it around entirely? Is Peas just going to let this movement go? Now, if Prof comes around a little bit more... Oh no, the smoke is going to hurt their perspective on... Jester's got to duck down, but... Rambo is fully exposed to this. Look at the angle. They're going to opt to dial off and come back.
And he's playing footsteps to that south corner, too. As Peas rotates onto objective on the north side, they've got it kind of sandwiched, but Prof is making his way up towards Peas.
Got 40 seconds remaining. This alarm clock is going to go off in their wrists here in a second, which is going to force them to start pushing in for these kills.
There it goes. The beeps.
They're trying for this cap. I don't think it's going to happen here, though. It's trade out in the end. Jester is at least going to be able to say, hey, they're out. But Peas is collapsing back in on the uplink. 15 seconds remaining.
Prof.
I don't think Prof's going to make it in time here.
I don't know if Peas keeps speaking like he does. Prof's coming up to him.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, God.
What?
Ring around the Rosie. Is Prof gonna
2
get
seconds
this?
is going to get it.
No.
No! The tablet was thrown. Indeed, that was stressful.
That was stressful for us up in the sky.
Yeah, woof. Like, just the amount of, like, come on, dodging back and forth there with Peas. I was expecting at least a shot to come out at some point there, but Proteus is going to end up taking this 4-0.
That was a game of Ring Around the Rosie if I've ever seen one.
All right. Well, yeah, let's see how stressful our next map is going to be here. Where are we going? You think we're going to go to Bazaar? Actually, that was for Pantheon's side, right? What do you think for Proteus?
There's not much small left. I'm curious if they're going to try to go tanker.
Oh, well, we were talking about it earlier. We're going to egress finally. Finally getting my glimpses. We were talking earlier about getting into egress and seeing a little bit of this map. Saw a couple of details with clips that were coming out in the Eclipse contest, which, by the way, if you haven't clipped anything yet, particularly, I think that double and a cap is a great way to start your entries there. If you haven't done so yet, go clip something from this match. Or got Cynthia, who's on VRML 3, and Body, who loaded in at 9:30 Eastern on VRML 2. So we have 2 other games going on right now as well. Go check those guys out and what they're up to. And grab clips from them as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going down on VRML tonight.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to get the 3 channels going, so great to see everybody being able to come out with availability and fill the channel slots up. So you know, we got a few new casters here. Chandler is with me for the first time tonight. Got him set up a bit earlier in the evening, so hopefully get you on to VRML 3 here shortly. And Body obviously is covering a little bit here. Tendies is gonna grab a map or a match or so the next week as well. So we're getting a few more casters on board here and good to go. So keep an eye on VRML 3, VRML 2. If you haven't yet, go follow those because we're gonna see more action. Alright, let's figure out some callouts for this map because, like I said, I haven't seen or played this one yet.
You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, we got the bar.
They've got a gas station on the northeast.
I did see that too, and the hotel in the center.
There's seemingly a couple of hotels here.
Yeah, I know.
All right, checking out the defense here. Apollo is checking in some luggage for somebody
-1, -1.
Freak goes down, coming out on the northeastern side here. Jester goes down as well. Shinobi is charging head first in, and they are coming up on uplink very, very quickly. Peas is around the corner as well at the front desk. Down goes Apollo, making this a 5v2. Peas charges right on in and does get taken out by Squirrel, who's sitting behind, which I believe are going to be penetrable because they are sofas. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. It'd be interesting to know.
Well, the thing is, those sofas doesn't even matter. There's no entrance there. There's only 2 ways in, and that's around by Absent and right in front of Squirrel.
Hmm. Right then.
You think there'd be a third
elevators,
entrance,
tape
but
yeah,
real freaky.
It really looks like it's designed for a third entryway here. Especially since you got the stairs behind there.
Yeah.
Interesting little details there. A couple of shots out from Park. I don't know if they were confirming a body in the garage here, but Squirrel, at the very least, knows by the sounds they are here.
Suplex has a nice angle. Here comes Absent.
And down they go. Ooh, almost a refrag there. Did Prof actually get a couple of hits? And it didn't look like it. It didn't grab the syringe right away. I take another
2v2.
piece of utility.
Minus Shinobi is at the front right, in the empty room Phantom was guarding that one time over.
Here, a little bit of the communication between Rambo and Park. I think they have an accurate kill count. Now, is there an entryway in on Rambo's left? Does that get them in the building through that doorway behind the hedges?
No, that actually takes you through an alley up in the north.
Huh.
You can get around to the garage and to the building from the east side of the building.
But either way, they have to come through this door or the garage then. So it seems like they've got the entryways at least locked down. Hopefully somebody's checked. Yeah, there's a tablet check. I was gonna say. Hopefully they checked the tablet because of the fact that it could be an easy TK accident there.
He's right here to the right room. I got it, don't worry.
And as Rambo calls out, or Prof was, they're gonna wisely dial back and a little bit farther out of view.
The nice thing for Pantheon is that they have that rotation door right next to Squirrel that Absent can take advantage of in case Squirrel goes down or if Park gets dangerously close.
Hmm. Love the little detail of the red X above the elevator, indicating it is out of order. Oh, a quick peek on Squirrel. Park goes down and a trade out in the end. Pantheon is going to take the round.
Oh, body, like so many bodies in here.
Yeah, so many bodies in that room. So many bodies in that room.
And that's going to rotate the momentum, giving Pantheon a bit of a glimpse of a win.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they've had an issue with keeping Proteus at bay with the points there. I mean, we had a cap you saw in Snow Peak that they just really weren't prepared for, especially with the rotation that Apollo was doing back then. I don't think we're gonna see something that outlandish. Maybe it's not a correct word here, but I don't know how else to describe it off the top of my head right now. But maybe we're not going to really see that here with how this can be a more close quarters, it looks like.
Yeah, and unfortunately Pantheon was operating at a 4-man squad for a little bit as absent-minded Prof was trying to figure out his deal with some power outages or some Wi-Fi issues that he was having.
Yeah, so a couple of thunderstorms seem to impacting the ability for them to play overall tonight. There's a nice little set of details all the way over here in construction, underneath the bridge and everything. I'm liking this map. Lots of complex angles I'm looking at here. Back into the game. Took some continued conversations from Proteus side here. Round number 2. Let's see how they're going to defend this.
Dude, those aren't real Shinobi, sorry.
I mean, like, where is this going?
Everyone's going to charge out the front door and go off to the right there. I heard a C4 go down.
Yeah, it's up on the light.
An excellent little angle here to cut the entryway in half from Rambo. We'll have to check back in a second here. Kind of just out of the way enough. Ooh, I think they got spotted dialing off from Squirrel there as well.
And Apollo's making his way into the garage, so he's going to be taking the same sort of way that Park did.
Yeah, and Freaky's down there in that region as well. They're going to be trying to go through the front door with that longer staircase. That could be a big death trap.
He could also be using that side door to get behind Suplex here.
See your Jester go down. Rambo's going to start charging in and around. Looks like they're going to be playing Rambo as a bit more of a loose flanker, ultimately. They are coming up on Apollo. And Apollo doesn't hear the sounds.
Okay, that was a kill on confirms. I think it's 5-4.
I rotate in the basement.
Incorrect call it there, but it is safer than...
It's coming up the steps, I think. I don't know if that's a friendly.
Yeah, listening to there. They are all sorts of sound coverage on this map. Now, if this was a night variant, you could viably hide in these lights here too. In the front
there is
doorway.
a nice night map here. It's a really nice map, even as a night map too.
Yeah.
And as we're talking, 2 people go down. Suplex is going to take on Squirrel, and Rambo also took out another one of the players. Siri talking to me.
I don't think she's going to understand how they're going to take the front doorway here. Freak is quite clearly going to be charging right on in.
It's coming to you.
See the kill and the dual smoke there. It does give him a great little bit of coverage, concealment here. Can at least conceal a little bit of the footsteps here. Shinobi waiting around the corner. And they do get tagged. No C4 blown, but they are gonna take the fight back to them, and Proteus is gonna go 1-to-1 on them now. It's even round number 2 here. 6-2 for Squirrel. And 4-1 for Shinobi. 4-2 for Rambo. Lots of excellent rotations that Rambo was pulling off there as well. Alright, we are moving outside of the warehouses here. appears that this box is behind you. Oh, it appears you could actually get close enough with the warehouse's corner, or at least this western warehouse or eastern warehouse for a cap there. Looks like it might just be in range.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that you don't expect, but there's definitely a dirty cap spot behind these boxes here in the corner.
Well, that's always good to see because those are game changers. Ooh, Freaky has got a frag grenade primed and ready to go as they are charging very strongly in. That was a flashbang. I thought it was a frag grenade in there. I'm gonna go back and take a look at that later. I swear I saw a frag grenade in his hand. They are showing off a very aggressive stance here. Park, I think, heard it.
Frank must have a C4 on him.
Jester and Shinobi around the corner from each other. Jester's coming up on the top. Oh, it took taking a couple of shots
on the ramp. He's on the ramp.
From Rambo.
And Park takes out Frack on the north.
Peas and Jester exchange flashbangs at the same exact time. Shinobi's gonna cover in there. They are entirely surrounding Jester. Entirely surrounding them. Rambo's gonna just get a quick tap there. While they
just
are
like that,
revivable.
5v2.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what the idea tactically was for sending everybody from Pantheon out and about except for the two remaining on the uplink. It's a very different style than I was expecting from them. So we saw somebody all the way out in the east. We saw Freak start going all the way out in the west. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering what exactly the game was there. That'd be interesting to hear a little snippet of afterwards. Maybe they were trying to throw off with a couple of ambushes.
Yeah, I mean, Pantheon's always looking to change it up and change the pace so that the other team can't figure out what they're trying to do.
And unfortunately, it didn't work out for them this round. But they did have a couple of sneaky angles. Rambo exposing, oh, not Rambo. Rambo calling out the exposed Jester on the ramp. I think Jester might have gotten a little bit too peaky in that particular case because they were quite clearly surrounded. And they were not getting out of that alive. Round number 3.
We'll be able to end. That's misogyny or whatever the fuck the term is. Wow, she knows.
Yeah, it sounds like their Proteus team is preparing for some sort of smoke rush. P's giving them some advice of being like, if there's smoke on the point, spray through it.
Map knowledge is clearly known there. Ooh, gonna get a couple of crosses out there, but Suplex goes down in return.
And there's Absent looking for his long angles, getting the kill on him for that one.
Nobody's in the hotel lobby there, but Absent, yeah, it looks like they're going for that angle. I don't know if they're going to be able to hit them, though, from here because of the hill cresting.
Hey. Hola,
Quite clearly a handful of spots that are being active here. P's trying to at least get a quick shot on Professor. They're coming through. They're gonna go down to Apollo though, underneath the highway. Rambo sporting the PKR or PKM. Now suppressing Squirrel as they're charging in, but Squirrel wisely pulled back and said, yeah, I'm not going to face off with that there. Not so close range there. Cop does get that confirm on Suplex eventually. They go down to Shinobi, who was in the hotel lobby, now actually covering out in the front. Gonna trade out after getting a couple more, though.
Shinobi doing some damage.
Yeah, it's now a 2v2 with each having a revivable teammate there. I don't know if Rambo's gonna go for that reviver, considering Squirrel's right behind them, though.
Apollo's going for the kill.
Apollo is there. They have Tablet out. They really aren't contested at all. And Pantheon is going to take the lead, at least on map 3 here, after all of the efforts we made for getting in.
Yeah, that was one of the objectives that I would call one of the most capable on this map. This is going to be one that I think is going to be one of the hardest to get into cap.
I haven't seen this section of the map really just yet. We did come over this way a couple of times. I didn't take a very good look around. Wow, yeah. The barriers are your only form of protection. This is not going to be easy.
Yeah, and you're way up. There's no nooks and crannies. You're going right up to it, or you're gonna die again.
And this is a medium-sized map, if I remember correctly, so you cannot use the M203 frag grenade. You can use the smoke grenade at that point, though.
And no drones either.
Yeah, well, the drone, like, I guess if you stuck it in the center of the map above the warehouses, you get a little bit of a good perspective, but you're not gonna get a lot of open angles, I think. They're all right.
I mean, you can, if you stick it back, you can still see what's going on, especially like just south of those two warehouses that we just moved off of. You might actually be able to see if anybody's peeking around some corners.
All right. Suplex is charging up the stairway in front of the hotel. Shinobi and Park making this cross here, and I think they were called out. Down goes Freak. It looks like, ooh, look at that little small angle that Prof almost was visible by, but the truck blocks them in the end from that catwalk. So now looking over at the defense here, we got Squirrel who's sitting in the container. You see P's taking a little bit of damage at that point. We saw lots of blood spatter on the cams there. They're gonna use a syringe. And then duck back out the same angle. Not good for them though, because Squirrel was watching that. Shinobi now also aware of where Squirrel is. They're pinned down and they're gonna trade out in the end of it all.
2v2.
Suplex has come up from behind the rest of the team here. That flashbang is going to give a little bit of their position away as their approach, though. I heard Jester flinch there from a shot, but...
And Park's alone here on the north side of the objective. It's going to be tough. He's got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of work to do.
And not many angles that are safe to hold either. Like if you take this ramp, it's dangerous.
Yeah, this is where you got to play very active, especially if Apollo peeks that ramp, he's open.
I think Graham heard that. You could see him just rotate back over this way once he had pulled that frag out. It was close to Jester as well.
Yeah, if that frag went a little farther, it might have been a down.
And the peak! It's a 1v1. 3 minutes remaining, and this could put into a 3v3 if Park pulls off this kill. back over into Jester.
Half the round's taken. Still, half the round is still standing for Park to make these rotations onto Jester. Like I said before, this is one of those things. You got to know that one of your opponents are on objective.
Yeah, you've got so much time, and the tablet awareness is very good on both sides. You gotta assume that somebody's at least nearby it, but with this one, where do you assume they're gonna be, though? Are they gonna be on the west side, where we are now, or do you stay maybe where Apollo was? Because you have more direct coverage on the approach angles. It's a tough kind of call to make if you know the map well enough. There's only so many ways you can approach in. There's also many more ways you can defend it, it looks like. Well, looks like Jester might get a little glimpse here on his head. Park stands up, they're not, though. That could have been a nice small angle for Park to peek quickly at the very least. One minute 15 remaining. They're gonna have to start pushing into at least the midway point of this underpass.
And the one thing we're forgetting is that Jester was hurt. So Park,
Yeah.
if it comes down to a trade moment, Park might actually win this.
I don't think Park has gotten hit yet either.
Exactly. I think that's what's going to give him that advantage that he needs to get on top of Jester and bring it to a 3-3 round 7 decider.
Here's a small peek. Are they gonna do a full swing? No. 30 seconds remaining. Jester's poking out.
Oh, Park knows.
Uh-oh. Oh! They went for the tablet. And that is gonna be a key decisive point for Pantheon taking
That were
the map.
onward timing.
Seriously, the onward timing there. But that could have, I mean, if it worked out, that could have put them back at the win, and that would have given Proteus the full clean sweep on the series. Like, that was a key point there overall, but do you go for the tablet or not? Bad decision probably in the 30 seconds there. You know somebody's getting close. You're not going to be sitting far away on the uplink like that, especially on a medium-sized map like this.
That was a tough call, and unfortunately, right at that moment, the call wasn't right, and it got him killed.
Yep. Whew. Well, what a ride we had. Cargo working through some tech issues, but it was a lot of great action there overall, especially with the kill counts being higher up on a few of those players we were seeing tonight. Shinobi definitely a key player for Cargo, and really throughout the entire match. They did also have a high kill count here on Egress as well.
Yeah,
and then Snow
Shinobi
picking up some stability. Go ahead with your comment on Shinobi with that.
He had like 8 kills, and he was definitely showing him that he was ready to rock.
Yeah, definitely a great performance tonight from them. And then we had stability in the lobbies, at least from then on out, thankfully, with Snow Peak and Egress. But the fact that we had some kind of similar plays on Snow Peak was interesting to see. I didn't expect the fact that they basically pulled the same play on each other, with the flanks on the center of the map there, around the same mountain, and both getting a double at that. Like, I was not expecting basically a same play from both defense and offense there. So it's interesting to see, and we only had one drone pulled out during that. Usually drones can help you get a little bit of a farther angle to at least see where a little bit of movement is, but keep it out of range, at least like a more visible range, unless you're really looking hard. But yeah, great play on Snow Peak there overall, and Egress, as we saw here, wrapped up relatively good timing with a 4-2. The Pantheon's only map win here. So the match is going to go to Proteus, and they are going to bump up. I believe they were at 6. So that should keep their 6th place, or maybe bump them into 5, depending on how the 5th team had done this week. All right, any other thoughts, Chandler, before we head out?
No, a lot of it was kind of how we expected. Some shifting on the battlefield, depending on, they're feeling each other out and trying to get around each other. Like you said, a lot of the same stuff going down on Snow Peak. Unfortunately, Proteus was able, unfortunately for Pantheon, Proteus was able to keep it consistent and get the 4-0 on Snow Peak. But then Egress, they were a little less consistent against Pantheon, and Pantheon was able to capitalize on that and take the last couple rounds and finish it off, getting them the 4-2. And then, yeah, the issues with Cargo, you know how it is. Onward timing, onward game. It's all features.
Yeah, that it is. All right, well, we're going to head out here. Thanks for sticking around. It was a good match to catch. This is the most voted matchup of the night here. We're going to take a quick peek over to VRML 2, and if they're still running, which I believe they are, we're going to do a raid for them. Yep, and they are. So stick around, and we will have